ShinRobjira.
What's going on there, everybody? I am ShinRobjira, and today we're going to be talking about the evil pool noodle and spiky doggo. Let's get started. Alright, so up first we're going to be talking about Singular Point Manda, but before we do that, let's take a look at this tag and not talk about it for 3 whole minutes. The picture that adorns this tag of Manda over here is actually really freaking awesome. I love this design from Manda. This is one of the few SP designs that just feel perfectly right for the character. You know what I mean? Yes, Godzilla looks fantastic, so does Anguirus and a bunch of the other monsters, but when it comes to the major redesigning of some of them, Manda definitely feels the most natural. Opening the tag up, you get a silhouette of Manda and a bunch of stuff that I can't read. And on the back of the tag, we get the same exact image that we've been getting with all of the Singular Point figures. So, proper tag protection for the vile noodle, yes. So yet again, when it comes to Manda's design, I personally feel this is probably the most comforting of the redesigns that we've seen thus far. Manda absolutely feels at home with this design, and I really do just like it. He kind of looks like a bit of a goblin shark, honestly. And just look at those monstrous eyes and those silver teeth. It all looks really nice, but only now am I noticing that tiny little abrasion on the side of Manda's head over here. Bandai, if you're not going to paint things all the way to the tip of the tail, at least start using more powerful silver paint, please. But oh well, you do what you can do, and again, the detail on the head of Manda over here is just fantastic, and the paint only makes it better. Alright, and when angled correctly from the front, this is terrifying. When you can see Manda's eyes like this, it's just a completely different experience looking at this character. I mean, for real, just imagine this coming towards you while you're in the ocean. No, thank you. Taking a look at the top of the head over here, we can see a lot of fantastic scale detail going on, and we've got this armored skin look that kind of resembles Godzilla's skin a little bit. Very nice. The accented maroons and silvers up here really help things pop on this figure very nicely. Just look at that. That is just terrifying, and props to Bandai on this because that eye is very cleanly painted. Like, very cleanly painted. I'm honestly surprised. Let the record show the Bandai Movie Monster series just outpainted Sham in terms of eyeballs. Good looks. But just overall, the angular look of Manda's head is awesome. I love it all so much. And of course, the detail does not stop there, because when you turn Manda over, there is a lot more of that scale detail on the bottom of Manda's head, and you're starting to see a bit of the softer underbelly for the throat over here. And you do start to see some sloppy paint in this little maroon over here. A little bit of an upset, but we must continue on. Taking a look at the inside of Manda's mouth, we can see some very nice looking teeth over here. We can also see some detail on the inside of the mouth. There's really not too much to show, and that is because a majority of it is only really going to be on the bottom jaw with some teeth and what looks like a pretty sharp looking tongue. I stand corrected, there are teeth on the roof of the mouth as well, so there you go. Again, just such a lovely and cool redesign from Manda. Really do love that they made him more of a sea beast this go around than a dragon. Yeah, the shape of the head is more dragon than it is fish, but damn does it look cool from just about every angle. Good stuff, Bandai. Now when it comes to the top of Manda's body, it's all pretty much lather, rinse, and repeat, but oh my god. Oh my god, they painted the spikes, the dorsal fins, whatever you want to call them, all the way to the tip of the tail. Oh my god. And speaking of the tip of the tail, that looks pretty familiar, does it not? Pretty familiar, does it not? Ha ha ha! Yeah, I don't know if this was intentional, if there's any implications for it, but they're pretty similar, man. And yes, of course, there will be some fantastic detail on that. Just truly awesome. And you're going to get a lot of really nice detail along the, whatever these would be. I don't know the morphological term for them. And they're decently painted. You can see that they're kind of bleeding onto the main color of the skin over here, which I guess is to be expected at this point. And then we get back to the head and we can see Manda's front legs. They're all tucked in and they have a silver spike at the end of them. Turning the figure on his side, you can see that both arms are going to be like this and there is going to be silver on them. And oh dear. Yes, more paint splooches. Oh dear. But for the most part, the frontal legs of Manda over here do look pretty nice. Can't really say so much for the hind legs though. The spikes aren't painted silver and they're kind of poorly painted. they're kind of really poorly painted. They should have been a lot more green over here. But I guess as Bandai was going over this thing with its spray paint can, that really isn't all that avoidable. And then, of course, we have Trademark and Toho Company Limited, Bandai China, 2103, and a bunch more numbers. Oh yeah, before we move on, the detail on Manda's underside is fantastic, but the paint just feels so weak. And I feel like you can see what I'm saying, too. So Bandai absolutely won me over with Manda with this new design and the fact that they painted all of these spikes all the way to the tip of the tail and to the tip of the head. The paint application on the eyes and on the teeth is rather good. And everything else in terms of detail is pretty dang fantastic. I do feel that the paint, though, in some areas is a bit weak. We got a splooch over here, a splooch over there. These were pretty poorly painted. We've got paint chipping off on the side over here. Yes, Bandai did an amazing job with this in terms of, you know, painting the entire backside of it all. But there is still some pretty weak paint on this thing. And for real, Bandai, I'm begging you, please upgrade the paint quality on these figures. So in terms of detail, Manda over here is definitely going to be getting a full solid star from me. But as for the paint, even with his fully painted row of silver spikes on his back, I cannot give this figure a full star because of the chipping paint and the myriad of paint splooches on him. Yes, the eyes are perfectly painted, but there's too much on here that really could have been avoided, so just shy of a full star. Moving on to articulation, Manda can spin at the head. Do be careful, the head feels like it could pop off rather easily. There is going to be a swivel at the midsection of the body, and there's going to be a swivel at the tip of the tail over here. So 3 points of articulation on this pretty much pool noodle looking mother flubber. That's a lot more than I and I'm sure a few other people out there were really expecting. So articulation, definitely going to get a full star. So Manda was pretty dang awesome. How about we start taking a look at Anguirus himself? Not gonna lie, friends and neighbors, this is probably one of the coolest, if not the coolest, Anguirus designs ever. I've never really been the biggest Anguirus fan, but after looking at this design and now owning this design, I gotta say, this is something else entirely. The wandering eye is just full of different paints and details and all these other crazy things about this design on this figure. It's so very cool. But anyway, let's talk about the tag. On the front of Anguirus' tag over here, we can see a picture of what he looks like in figure format and in the anime, and he looks fantastic. He really does. Again, this is one of my very favorite incarnations of Anguirus ever. And I have watched the anime, and he does have a couple of new tricks up his sleeve. Don't worry, I won't be spoiling anything. But dang, is this Anguirus a badass. I truly enjoy this Anguirus. Opening the tag up, we get a silhouette of Anguirus over here and a bunch of stuff that I don't understand. And we get the same back of the tag as we've been getting. Goo Goo Dolls slide joke. Best album. Dizzy Up the Girl. Honestly, if you're not impressed with what's being shown here, I don't know what to tell you. Yes, this figure could have used a little bit more paint over here, over here, over here, and over here, but for what we're given, this looks awesome. Really awesome. Just look at all of that detail. You got detail on the arms. You got detail on the armor plating over here. And this front-on shot of Anguirus over here is just so good. We got a spike here, got some spikes here, got some spikes there, here and there and there and here. So much is going on with this design, and it looks so very good. The closer you get, you can see all the little fibers of detail in there, all the little wrinkles and such. It's so very nice. And zooming in, you can see that Anguirus has a fully painted eye, and he even has a pupil in there. I don't think that's painted. I think it's just sculpted that way. But look at that. That's awesome. Wow! The teeth look pretty awesome. The horns on the side of the face look pretty awesome. No matter the side, this Anguirus figure is an absolute impressive boy. Look at that. Just look. Oh my god, all of that. This is one thorny boy because look at this. He's got thorns and horns between all of his thorns and horns. Just massive. And this is one of the cases where I really do just fall in love with the fact that these are spray painted on because I just love the little particle effects on these. They look so nice. But again, I wish that it was a little bit heavier and I wish that it was a little bit stronger because then you get little nicks in the paint like that and that's just going to bug me. But moving on. I actually saw this on Twitter, but this is a reference to the original Anguirus suit. The back of the suit was split like this, I believe to help get the actor in and out quickly, and the fact that this was just added to the design where it really didn't need to be just goes to show that there's a lot of love in the Singular Point team, because they are just putting in all of these crazy details that really did not need to be in there. And not for nothing, all of these spikes over here are just impressive as heck looking. Just look at that. And the tail is very impressive too. It does kind of look like a piece of poop with corn sticking out of it, but hey, what you gonna do? And it is painted all the way up to the tip of the tail until you get to the actual tip. Yeah, the horns on the tip of the tail aren't fully painted, but for whatever reason, I'm really not mad about this. I mean, seriously, just look at that. That's paint, that's detail, it's fantastic. I have no issues. Now, yes, I really do wish that all this was painted, that was painted, and that was painted. I really, really do. That would make this figure look even better. But the detail. Jeez, did they kill the detail on this thing. Tossing the figure on his side, you can see all of the crazy skin patterns. You can see more detail on the lower jaw, more detail on the legs over here. And it is just crammed on there, friends and neighbors. Look at that. It's practically everywhere. This figure is just an absolute win. It's an absolute win. It's the best way I can describe it. Again, I really do wish all of this was painted, but it still looks really, really good. Like, I can't get over all the crazy detail that is on this thing. There is just so much of it, and I am just so very impressed. And look at that, they even painted and detailed all the stuff on the underside of the little flaps over here that hang off of his body. God, the effort on this thing is outstanding. And then we get a bunch of trademark stuff, 2103 Bandai China, trademark Toho Company Limited, goes all the way to the tip of the tail, and of course it stops right at the tip of the tail, which we should just be expecting at this point. Oh man, I'm so torn. I love the way this thing looks so much, but I'm greedy and I just want more. I want more, I want more, I want more of that paint. But I think the time is nigh. In terms of detail, I'm going to give Anguirus a solid star. I can't believe this is happening already, but in terms of paint, I'm going to give Anguirus another solid star. Alright, so in terms of articulation, the front legs can go all the way around like so, and I'm pretty sure the back legs, yeah, they can go all the way around like so as well. Just really be careful about scraping off paint back here. You will, of course, get a second verse, same as the first for both of the legs over here. Yeah, there we go. And you will be getting articulation in the tail as well. I was not expecting the tail to be articulated. I was obviously expecting the legs to be articulated because that's just gonna be a thing. And I really wasn't expecting the head to be articulated either because you could just see in the promo pictures that it wasn't going to be a thing. So he's got his 5 points of articulation, and this might just be hype goggles talking. It might. But I'm really just so impressed with this figure, the amount of detail that they put into it, the amount of paint that they actually put on it. Friends and neighbors, subscribers, not subscribers, you should totally subscribe. If you are watching this and you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Come on, help us ShinRobjira out, please. I think this momentous moment in this channel's history of having a rating system, which isn't that long, I think we have finally found our first 3 solid star figure in Singular Point Anguirus. Now again, I am not a massive Anguirus fan. I do not have any crazy biases towards this character or this design. Yes, I really do like this design, but damn, I really am just impressed with how this figure looks. I'm throwing it in, guys. This is a solid 3-star figure to me. I love this thing. I love it so much, I'd buy it a second time to keep in a case. This is some of Bandai Movie Monster Series' best work, even with the lacking paint on the front and back legs. There is so much going on with this design, and I know I'm saying it again, but look at this. Even when you turn him on his side, there's so much going on between the spikes. All of the spikes are painted. Yes, they're not painted on every single side, but looking at this thing from the front is an experience in and of itself. I love this figure so very freaking much. 3 solid stars. That's it. Bandai's second wave of Godzilla Singular Point figures is here. Godzilla Aquatilus, not Titanosaurus. Anguirus and Manda are all very fantastic offerings and have all absolutely exceeded my expectations for them, especially Anguirus. But if I really had to whittle it down to the weakest of the line thus far, I would definitely have to agree with Ultrazilla in saying that Manda is probably the weakest of the line thus far, with Godzilla Aquatilus kind of being there, but Anguirus just being the top tier. Anguirus is 150 freaking % the best of the line thus far. Chonker boys on parade. These two perfectly in line with one another, but Anguirus just about takes the cake in terms of paint. Sorry, Ultima. Ultima, you are not, because you do not have the amazing paint of Godzilla Singular Point Anguirus. Sorry for the melted look. It is currently 81 degrees and I am sitting under photography lighting right now. It's hell. So in terms of Manda's final rating, I'm going to give him 2.5 stars and a full recommend, absolutely. Yes, he is my personal pick for the weakest of the line thus far, but he's still really cool. A lot of really great paint apps and details about this guy. Absolutely. And Anguirus over here, and Goo Goo Dolls, and Gwyneth Paltrow, the spiky boy himself. Man, first 3 solid tier star recommend from me. Absolutely, if you can find this and you are an Anguirus fan especially, you should own this figure already. And if you're an Anguirus fan especially and you don't own this figure already, hop to it and hop to it quick, because Bandai's doing this whole thing with what seems like a single print per production run, and that's just insane. Hopefully that gets fixed up in the future, but no, for real, 3 solid stars for Goo Dolls over here. Love this figure so very much. I don't have many Anguirus figures, but I can easily call this one my favorite. This is going to be my very first Manda figure of all time, and honestly, I'm not ashamed in that. I love the design, I love the paint scheme, do wish the paint on Manda could have been a little bit better, and overall, the size is fantastic. I don't have an issue with the size. The tails are going to take up a bunch of room on your shelf, so be sure to clear some shelf space for these guys. Again, I really couldn't recommend these figures enough, especially Anguirus. Well, mostly Anguirus. Again, Anguirus fans, if you don't have this figure, you need this figure right now in your collection. I cannot stress that enough, and I'm really just singing my praises here. I hope future Singular Point releases look as good as Anguirus do, and I'm hoping future Singular Point releases just get it right like they did with Anguirus. I know I'm absolutely favoring Anguirus over Aquatilus and Manda, but they're essentially just pool noodles, you know? They don't really have too much about them. Anguirus, though, he's a stumpy, chunky boy, and he's got spikes, and oh boy, there goes the Anguirus bias. It's a thing here on the ShinRobjira channel now. Not much I can do about it. Yet again, full recommends across the freaking board. And guys, gals, watch Godzilla Singular Point when it comes out, because as of right now, I think we're on episode 5 or 6. I don't even remember. I watched a new episode today with Corey. It was fantastic, and seeing Anguirus do his thing again, it caused a good flutter in my heart. I'm happy. I'm happy with both of these figures. I'm happy with Anguirus. I'm happy with Manda. Anguirus, clearly the best of the line thus far. I have been ShinRobjira. I do so hope you enjoyed my review, and I will see you all next time.